Engines and Einsteins. In the springtime on the island of Sodor, the women engines and men engines always get their work done. They like to greet each other while they pass by, and they blow their whistles and ring their bells for a nice greeting. One day, Mevi was taking a train of cattle cars through the snow. She had to transport horses to Farmer McColl's farm. She arrived just in time. "These horses must get to their pasture soon," Mevi said. She waited. But before long, the horses were in the freight cars, and Mevi steamed off to Farmer McColl's farm. The next day, Mevi was at Tidmouth Sheds, talking to the engines. "I transported horses recently," Mevi said. "Of course you did," said Emily. "You transported a horse." "Of course," Mevi said. Then she looked up in the sky. "What is that?" called all the engines. It was a flying saucer. "Bust my buffers," puffed Mevi. "I've never seen something flying like that before." "Neither have I," puffed Gordon. "And we haven't either," said James. Thomas and Percy just smiled. "We haven't seen that either," they said. Mevi was surprised. Just then, Sir Topham Hatt arrived. "I would like you to work with Loisia pulling a long train today." "Yes, sir," Mevi said. Soon, Mevi and Loisia were in the yard when Mr. Cakesture was there. "Is this our long train of 310 cars?" asked Loisia. "It is," said Mr. Bakesture. "You must go slowly." "We should, sir," both the engines said. A few minutes later, Toby shunted the freight cars into place, and the train set off for its destination. "Good luck," called Toby, and Mevi and Loisia steamed away. "We must get our train delivered soon," Mevi said. "We should, Mevi," puffed Loisia. The troublesome trucks laughed. "We're going down the line on our favorite island train. Speeding down the track. Troublesome trucks. Hee. "Be quiet back there," Loisia said. "You're being a backseat driver." "Because you are," added Loisia. A few minutes later, Thomas and Percy saw who the aliens really were. "We're the little Einsteins," they said. Thomas and Percy were surprised. "Bust my buffers," puffed Percy. "I've never seen those guys before." Percy was shocked. "Little Einsteins," puffed Percy. "Yes," puffed Thomas. "They're from a different show." Then there was a loud noise. "What was that?" roared Thomas. "I don't know," puffed Percy, "but it sounds obvious." "That sounds a lot like that mean blue airplane. Big jet," Leo said. "Bust my buffers," puffed Thomas. And it was. He was speeding. Meanwhile, Mevi and Loisia were delivering their train to their destination. They steamed over just in time. "Here we are!" both Mevi and Loisia said at the same time. The next day, Mevi and Loisia were taking on coal and water when Sir Topham Hatt came to see them. "I would like both of you to collect another goods train today," Sir Topham Hatt said to both of them. "Yes, sir," they both said. Mevi and Loisia waited patiently, and Rocket watched. "We must watch," the little Einstein said, and Mevi and Loisia buffered up to the freight cars. "Let's get going," Mevi said. "We should," said Loisia. And Mevi and Loisia puffed away. As they began their song, "We're going on a trip on our favorite railway line, speeding down the track, women engines, couple up. Let's join the team today, and we have much fun. We must all go, Mevi and women engines," and then the freight cars behind just trailed along. "Through the station, here we come," Mevi said. And the long train was really heavy, and the passengers watched the whole train fly by. It was long. Meanwhile, an Amtrak diesel rail car was making its way to Dalehurst when Mevi and Loisia were speeding along with all their weight. And then there was trouble. Mevi and Loisia rounded the curve, and then they saw a scary sight. The diesel rail car was on the same track, and it applied the brakes. But Mevi and Loisia were too late. "Oh no!" cried Loisia as she telescoped into the rail car. "Mevi's flipping over!" Rocket was worried. "That looks petrifying, everyone," he said. And it was. The collision was catastrophic, and Mevi had flipped on her side. "I'm sorry about this," she said. "I don't like being tilted over like this." She was very distraught. And Loisia had telescoped into the diesel rail car. "I'm stuck," she said. As weeks went by, the other trains were working hard on the tracks, doing their work by pulling passenger cars and freight cars. For whatever they do, that is really useful. Hooray for that!